So there is this concept in Breslov that speaks about Hispodidus, right? Talking to Hashem, crying out to Hashem. It's mentioned to set aside an hour a day for Hispodidus. I mean, that can be a lot for a lot of people who don't even feel like they have a minute. But you can start small, start with a minute, start with 3 minutes, then you can go to 10 minutes, then a half hour, you can jump to the hour. It takes time, it's a process. But you can think of Hispodidus as a time where you're just connecting really to higher consciousness, to yourself. You're giving yourself the space to process whatever it is that's coming up for you. And it can really be dark. It can be dark stuff. It can be conflicts. It can be struggles. And it can also just be joy and happy and light and all the good stuff that you want to share with yourself and with God. And it's really about connecting to God. Not only God up there, God in here, your soul, your neshama, your inner being, your higher consciousness. Like, who are you? Who are you actually? I went for years, majority of my life, not knowing who I was. I just knew I was Shifra. I didn't know past that. I didn't know that I am a soul. I didn't even have the idea that I have a soul. Like, that wasn't even on my radar. Like, I was so disconnected. And one of the ways I connected to self and to higher consciousness and to my true inner being, and then ultimately to Hashem, was through Hispodidus. And at the time I didn't know I was doing Hispodidus. I was talking to myself. I was really like reflecting and coming outside of myself, talking to myself from outside here, what I thought I wanted to hear, what I needed to hear at the time. And then I would have arguments with myself, and I would watch as an observer up here. I would watch these arguments play out. I would watch these voices in my head talking to each other, and I was just observing, like, wow, that's interesting. She said that, but she said that, and she feels this way, and she feels this way. And I would have these conversations, and then sometimes as an observer I would engage, and I would jump in, and then I would jump back out. And over time I eventually realized, like, I'm talking and connecting to God. I'm connecting to a higher power outside of me. I'm connecting to a higher consciousness that's so much greater than me, than I can ever even put in words. And this idea of Hispodidus is so powerful. It is so powerful for so many different reasons. But one reason that I want to stress right now, which correlates to the work that I'm doing in tapping and EFT, a really powerful effect of giving a voice to the truth of how we're feeling, the negative that we're feeling, the darkness, the struggles, the conflicts, the dark emotions that we don't want to feel, the struggles that we are going through, the real darkness in us that we hate, the things we hate about ourselves, the things that we feel like we keep coming back to, all the darkness. And the truth, I like to call it the truth because it is true. We are feeling and thinking these ways. And with EFT, we call it tapping on the negative. I like to call it tapping on the truth because it is what's true and what's coming up for you right now. So for example, if you are feeling really anxious, but you don't want to feel anxious, I wouldn't suggest tapping right away. I'm not anxious. I don't feel anxious. I feel so calm. I feel at ease. I wouldn't do that. That's, in a way, can be a little bit even more harmful. That's, what they call toxic positivity, where you're jumping to the positive before you've actually even acknowledged the fact that, hey, I'm feeling anxious. I'm so anxious right now, I don't know what to do with myself. This anxiety is unbearable. I feel it in my stomach. That is giving space and room for anxiety to be there so you can process it and then heal it and then release it. Hispodidus is a time that you get to talk to Hashem. If you don't feel like I've had these feelings of like, I can't come to God with this because I'm so ungrateful, or I don't want to focus on this negative because I really just want to be so thankful for the life that I have, and how can I complain to Hashem when I've got a house to live in and I've got food in my fridge, like all these thoughts and these guilt. And Hashem wants that. He wants us to rely on him for every little single thing. Like we would rely on a friend, a wealthy cousin, a father, a sister, a mother, a brother. Like, he wants us to come to him with everything. If you set aside the minute, the 3 minutes, the half hour, the hour, whatever it is, to talk to Hashem, you have that space to go to the darkness, to go to the conflict, to go to the negative, the truth of how you're feeling, to pour your heart out, to cry, to really, really cry, to give yourself the space and the permission to, I don't want to feel grateful right now because I am really struggling. Even though I've got A, B, and C, and even though I have all these things to be grateful for, right now I don't feel grateful. I'm really struggling. Hisbodedus gives you the time and the space to go to your Father, to go to the higher power outside of us with everything from the bad to the worst, to the good, to the better. And within this hour, within the space that you give yourself time, you can acknowledge all the hardships and the struggles, guilt-free, shame-free, like literally just straight up. I'm struggling, and I don't want to feel guilty for feeling like I'm struggling, and for coming to you with this, and and I don't want to feel this, because I want to feel happy, and I want to feel like everything's great, and I want to feel amazing. And if we want that outcome, and we want to feel amazing, and we want to just feel so positive, we sometimes don't give ourselves the space, especially to talk to ourselves, never mind God, and acknowledge these emotions. We just want to go straight to feeling good and happy, like everything's okay. I feel fine. I'm at ease. I'm so calm. Subconsciously, you don't believe that. And so the subconscious is still there. The conflict that you're not acknowledging is still there. The dark emotion you're not dealing with, it's still there. I'm not saying we have to go on a 10-year healing journey, or that you have to go, disappear for 5 years or take time off. That's not what I'm saying. I'm actually quite saying the opposite. That if you would spend even just an hour, forget an hour, 10 minutes, acknowledging the struggles, acknowledging the dark emotions, acknowledging the feelings that you're so strongly trying to avoid, then you can give space for the positive. Only after you've acknowledged the darkness, only after you've actually given space for the darkness to come up, for the emotions that feel overwhelming to come up, for the struggles that you're going through, only after bringing those up to HaShem, to acknowledging them within yourself, only after tapping on the struggle. I'm really struggling right now. I feel this in my belly. I'm really, really struggling. I don't know what to do. Only after giving that space and the time that it needs, then you can go to the positive. And according to Rabbi Nachman and Breslov and Chassidus, that you have this hour of Hisbodedus to just literally cry out to God every single one of your struggles. You have that space. God is giving you that space and that time. And He always is. It doesn't even have to be an hour. It can be randomly throughout your day. You are allowed to feel like you're in despair. But what Rabbi Nachman's teaching is set aside that time, the hour, to really cry your eyes out, to really acknowledge, I am really struggling right now. And it's scary to admit that to ourselves. Sometimes we just keep going, and we just keep going, and we just keep going, because we feel that if we actually acknowledge this thing, it's going to be too great for us. And Hashem's actually no. Acknowledge it, because I got you. I got your back. Acknowledge it. Cry out to me. Cry out to me. Acknowledge it within yourself. Cry out to Hashem. And then it's commanded for us to spend the rest of the day in joy. If you give it space, if you give your struggles and your conflicts and your little worries, I'm not even talking about the big worries, I'm talking about the little worries, the tiny little worries. Because the big things, sometimes we have an easier time trusting in God. It's the little things that we worry about. Give those little worries to God and really acknowledge them within you, and then acknowledge them to God. Literally cry out and say, I am struggling with this, and feel how that feels in your body. Where does this feeling of despair, where do I feel that? Where do I feel that in my body? Acknowledge that in your body. Tell Hashem, I feel the stress in my back. It's killing me. My back is killing me. I can't take this anymore. Acknowledge that for that hour, for that however long you set aside to do Hisbodedus. And then go the rest of your day with joy. And why can you spend the next 23 hours in joy? Because you gave that space. You gave the negative, the truth, the darkness, its space. And it's through the darkness now you can be in joy. And so too with tapping. We have to give space for the negative. So many people keep asking, why are we tapping all this negative? I don't want to feel this way. I want to do positive affirmations. I want to feel good at work tomorrow. Let's tap on, I feel good at work tomorrow. I feel good at work tomorrow. I'm going to feel amazing at work tomorrow. I'm so confident. Yes, that's incredible. And you can feel that way, and you will feel that way. But you have to feel it through the darkness first. You have to, and I don't want to say darkness. You don't have to feel it through darkness first. You have to acknowledge the true emotion. What's really going on for you? What's really, really going on for you right now? Right here, right now. And trust that it's not too big for you, because you are bigger than your emotion. You are not your emotion. So if you are not your emotion, you are the vessel that's holding the emotion. So you are obviously capable of holding and handling this emotion. If you are the vessel for the emotion, you are not the emotion, and you are not the feeling. You are greater than that. You are greater than your emotion. You are greater than your feeling. You are greater than your thought. So acknowledge it, because that's all it wants. It just wants the acknowledgement. It just wants the space. It just wants the voice. It's like that little kid that keeps nagging at their mom, like, mom, 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 mom. And then you're just like not listening to it because you're talking to your friend or whatever. And then you just look down and you're like, yes. And they're just like, just want to say hi. Just want to know you're there. And you're like, okay, yeah, I'm here. I love you. And then they go run off and play. And what was that? That was like 2 seconds. They just wanted your acknowledgement. So the little conflicts and challenges and struggles and darkness and challenging emotions that are there, they will be there in your subconscious until we pay attention to it. And paying attention to it doesn't, like I said, doesn't need to be a year, 2 years off of healing. It can literally just be a 10-minute acknowledgement of like, hey HaShem, hey Shifra, what's going on? Check in with yourself, check in with your body. Hey, I'm actually feeling really stressed right now. That's okay to feel stress. I allow you to feel stress. Shifra, I allow you to feel stress in this body. I allow you to feel stressed. I allow you to feel overwhelmed. It's okay. You're allowed to feel overwhelmed. You, yourself, you are not overwhelmed. That's not who you are at your core, at your being. You're the space that's giving room for the overwhelmed. You are not your overwhelmed. So you can just give it space and allow the overwhelm to be there, and trust and know that you are higher consciousness. You are greater than the feeling, and give it the space and give it the time. And with love and with compassion, you can feel it, then you can heal it, and then you can release it. So I would definitely suggest taking some time to come to that awareness, to recognize that you are higher consciousness and you are not your emotion or your feeling, even though it may feel that way. Try even for just 1 minute to pay attention to your thoughts, to mindfully observe your thoughts, to talk to yourself, to talk to God. Tell him your worries. Don't be afraid to face the conflict, because the conflict is subconsciously there. It is there, and it's portraying in your body. It's coming out in your habits and your patterns and your beliefs. It's there. So give it the conscious awareness that it wants. And then from that place, you can start focusing on the joy. You can start focusing on the positive affirmation that you want. You can start feeling, I am loved, I am at ease, I'm not anxious, I am cool as a cucumber. You can then do that because you've given space and room for all emotions, because all emotions are signals, they're all guidance, they're all here telling us to do something. And more than that, you are the vessel that is capable to hold space for the emotion that you are feeling. You don't need to run from your emotion. You are allowed to give yourself permission to feel the emotion that's coming up for you, because it is not greater than you are. You are greater than the emotion. And tapping is an incredible way to heal and feel your emotions, to process emotions, to allow room and space for your emotions to be there. Tapping is an incredible way. It calms your body and your nervous system down while you're trying to process an emotional feeling. So definitely check out more on tapping. You can find me on social media, Shifra Wyman Remedy. Check out my website, which is Remedy EFT. It's in the process. I haven't launched it yet, but all my contact info is there. And check out tapping. There are many, 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 many ways that you can safely process emotions. Be kind to yourself with compassion. You do not need to re-traumatize your mind, your body, or your spirit in order to heal and feel alive and living in vitality. You do not need to re-traumatize yourself. There are safe ways and spaces to process and heal everything that it is that's coming up for you. So tapping is a good place to start, and that will lead you down a road that you will find all the tools that you need to help you on this journey. Don't forget, you have it. You have everything you need inside of you. You are your greatest tool.